if we have already started, so I won't talk for a long time. I will just pass word to Mikko, not Mikko to word. I will ask Mikko just to provide us with the final conclusion, because I suppose Mikko is the best guy to make it. So Mikko, please, the floor is yours.
I don't know about that, but there's a Finnish proverb that community is healthy when the children are playing and laughing, and I think we did that last night, playing with Jenga with some glasses. But there's a lot of that is packed into that. So community and having, that it's not just you get together once, and so there's much more to that. But it's not a Finnish proverb. I just made it up. But anyway, so the children laughing and playing is important. But first, I mean, there wouldn't be children if there wouldn't be parents. So that our dynamic duo here, who are really behind the whole process of building this community since Utrecht and everything that's been happening. So, I mean, you guys are the best to say everything, but let's just thank them first. I mean, for Vojtěch gave me instructions what I'm supposed to talk about. There was a lot of stuff, so I made some notes and so forth. So I will say a couple of things from my perspective about the workshop. First, I think that the theme is excellent and very much at the timely in a way to have the metadata and to have the texts and have them together and thinking where that is going. So it seems very simple and very natural, but then when you start thinking everything that is packed into that, it's a very complex question, and it's very much time to really thinking about that now. And also, I mean, what we've achieved, I mean, like some of the main things is that this workshop again extended our community. So the laughing and playing is also for new people, and it's for those who have been dragging along since Utrecht, but that the community is welcoming and it's open, and there's new perspectives that are coming. So that's extremely important, because we don't want to silo into some kind of a one interest group, but there are many voices, and that's really important. And one example, for example, when thinking about the texts and the metadata or bibliodata, is that we have Impresso and the NewsEye project both here. So if we think about the holy trinity of digital humanities, which is memory organizations, humanities, and then computational methods, those are the kind of ships, European freight ships that have been sailing and not sinking, even when the baggage of the Holy Trinity is really heavy, if you think about it, to have all of those sides presented and then learning how to talk the talk that is the same for everyone. So that's really important. And also that people who are working with the texts understand the relevance of bibliodata and the metadata side of it. So that is really crucial, so that the libraries are not only there that, okay, give us your data and that's that, and that we have perspectives also coming from the library side that I think is really, really crucial. So that is, I think, that very nicely reflected on the program and the people here that okay, the sort of a more traditional way of working and the libraries are really present. We had great presentations from different parts of Europe and many interesting viewpoints from different backgrounds. So I think that was also a fantastic thing. But then again, the crucial relevance of web archives and not forgetting Wikidata and thinking about the future also. So we all love books, printed books in their many different forms, but also then this born digital is here and it won't go away. So then thinking about all of these aspects together. So I thought that was really great. And of course, then we spent time thinking about editions, works, and the dreaded Ferber and everything that goes around it, and both catalog and research side. So that for me at least was really rewarding. So a beautiful setting you guys put together. So that was really good. Now, of the common topics, what I noticed is that one thing that really unites, I think, everybody, regardless where we're coming from, is the thinking of the automated creation of metadata. So, and then using that. So that's an interest that I thought that is important. So AI is really with us. Many of us are exploring how to create more and better bibliodata. But I guess that it's also something that we are a little bit unsure how to use and what to make of it. So when we think that that might be a positive challenge in a way, as a community, we could come up with some best practices for this moment in time. So it's impossible to, when things are going towards new direction, that you can't jump into the end point, but you have to take a step at a time. So maybe thinking about some sort of we've done the landscape analysis, so maybe some sort of best practices towards the future as a community type of thinking might be a good thing. Not to create regulations, but to provide some. I think a roadmap is a good thing to think about. So that might be one thing that we could maybe do. Now, about the themes, we maybe could have talked more about the reuse and enrichment part, maybe. I mean, but it's a very crucial aspect of the future of bibliodata. So it was put that we will be bridging the gap between bibliodata curation and research. That gap still exists, and it needs to be accepted as a fact. Need to really keep working hard to really do more about it. It won't end here in Prague, unfortunately. And then the paradoxical thing about bibliodata and catalogs is that the national silos, they are really real. So often using things even from the interoperability point of view, but also from the basic setting is that we do the evaluations being Swedish, British, German, French publishing, but genuinely take a European perspective with respect to statistical view of publishing. It's really hard, it's really difficult, but that's the kind of promise that we sort of made, and that's what we want to do. Also in the future. Of course, we are trying, but it needs to be accepted that it's hard. But also, again, the roadmap. How do we get there, and where do we, start and building towards it? And even for the Wikipedia, that the studies are often based on one language, so their work remains. Now. So the future challenge, Vojt asked me to say something about it, so that now that the children are laughing and playing, like they say in the Finnish proverb, so how do we create more as a community? Really, I mean, that's, because this is now we're in a position that we're a good base. So really thinking that what do we want to create? So this is like a point where it's easy to start thinking, okay, that we need common funding. We do, but the funding for its own sake is always a bad idea. So once you get it, if you get it for its own sake, it becomes a drag after you get it. So it's like the car shop that you drive out and your value has gone. But if you didn't sort of invest in the actual work, if you didn't really want to do it, so please don't get any funding, because yeah. So anyway, but now that so how do we take a leap so that the Holy Trinity creates something new and useful together? So I think that's what we should. I mean, it's obvious, but that's something that we need to keep our mind at, and then get a clearer vision. Or what can it be that we want to create? And then when we do the costs and other initiatives, do that. But let's first, I mean, what is it that we all really want that is not in this world? And from there, I'm just kind of a probe type of person. Anyway. But now, dynamic duo, I don't know if you call you that, but anyway, so that's what you are. And so, I mean, thank you again, but I pass now the word back to you.
Okay, perfect. Thanks a lot, Mikko, for your role. I think that we have very nicely sum up the content of our workshop, and maybe there might be a space for the final questions. So if anyone can comment or want to ask Mikko or Tomek or me for something, please feel free to pose a question or comment what was already said. Okay, Jose.
No, it's not so pretty now.
If you want to make it off record, we can. Or we can cut it later on conversation. Just indicate.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. There are 15 people online. I think that they...
No, I don't mind the online people.
Okay, so we will cut it later on.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, things in the library, in many libraries, the resources, as I mentioned several times, are finite. And the libraries have this challenge that they have to keep doing the old stuff, and they have to start new stuff. And this is very difficult to prioritize. And one of the things that many libraries are considering is to, reduce people from specific departments. And when we talk about automatic creation of metadata, many institutions, they're going to listen to us as researchers and say, hey, the researchers are saying that we can automatize all these steps. And of course, I'm all for, machine learning to support and so on. But I think we need to remember that, what we communicate doesn't remain only in our community. All the people have very specific interests, economic interests. Therefore, I would argue that we need to, even in the panel of automatic creation of metadata, all of the talks were, they included people, annotators, evaluators. So this idea of keeping humans in the loop to evaluate, I think this is very important. That we also, because for us, it's, of course, we are these people in the loop. So for us, it's obvious. But other people can read or text in another way.
Yeah.
Thank you for the comment. I think you are completely right, because I think that artificial intelligence or these techniques can only supplement the current process of cataloging. They cannot substitute it, definitely not. And I think that without manual cataloging, any bibliographical work cannot be done for decades and decades.
Even in our departments, we also have cataloging in our department, although we are research institutions together with Vojta. So it's not about replacing people, but about being able to keep what they are doing in the face of growing number of materials that are coming. So either they are coming from the retro conversion or they are coming from the web. And we still have the same resources for manual cataloging. So, but we don't want to lose those two big streams of data and try to kind of keep everything under the similar roof, let's say. So definitely we will address this. That is a kind of an ecosystem, and in the end we are depending again on the human conceptualization and the word annotation for all those methods. Yeah. So I think this will be a valid point.
Yeah. And I mean, transformation of work is never easy. I mean, the same goes for researchers. So that a lot of people think that now the work that the historian would be doing, it goes away somehow. But we actually need more people when we are doing the work. But of course what the researchers are doing, that's transforming. But the need of the actual human being there is very much there. I mean, it's even growing.
Yeah. Definitely that AI should be something which help the catalogers to make their work better or simplify their work, for them to be able, to add more specific information to the data which we as researchers need. But definitely that's a perfect point that artificial intelligence cannot substitute the manual cataloging.
I don't doubt that you have this point of view. It's just that in many papers, machine learning papers, you see at the beginning the argument like this task takes a lot of time and a lot of money, therefore we are interested in automating this task. And of course, for people working for computer science, this is not a risk for them because they are behind the machine. But actually, this kind of arguments that we find in computer science, it is really risky for humanity because we are as people.
Thank you, Jose. I have seen Daniel and Marco.
I just wanted to say that I really love your argument, but it also brings another parameter. Things are changing, new methods are coming in, so maybe we should also invest on training of the librarians and the researchers into using these techniques and bringing them closer. I think put this argument very well. We need to bring them together and train each other on the new methods as well.
Thank you, Penny, for your remark, because basically that, cooperation or to enable to have any platform for the communication of both of these sides was the original idea which has led to the creation or establishment of our working group. So I'm happy to be able to emphasize that argument. Martin, please, or guys.
Just a short comment. If you see the whole history of the library, documentation, it has never always borne the complete replacement of the human workforce. You can exchange some, you can automatize some elements, some workflows that are maybe mechanical jobs, but the any value by humans cannot be replaced, and we can see this case clearly in case of that the majority of the bibliography metadata have to be done by human workforce, but there are some technical and administrative metadata and small set maybe of bibliographical one that have to be automatized, that we can have a kind of base to identify the digital objects, but to take the whole data set meaningfully, you need many kinds of human workforce, and I in a way, artificial intelligence can help on this issue, but in the near future, I think maybe 20 or 30 years, I can't see any way that it can be totally replaced. Yeah, as you mentioned, the computer science point of view is a bit different because they have a different kind of practical and mental framework. We have always used this kind of complex
Thank you, Michael, for your remark. Sylvia.
Just building on what Ben said, and considering that there's a whole literature on training needs assessment, I was wondering if it would be considered in the course of action or something like this to, make a survey and understand what are the training needs perhaps of the community that it's interested in order to, like plan some workshops either for, using Finto or in my case, I would love to do some deduplication workshops just to understand how people can, simplify repeated data and so on. So maybe just, I don't know if it's something you have considered, but if not, I think it would be nice to have a workshop focus for the host action or something else. I don't know.
Yeah, we also, one part of the work that we've done that didn't land in the report finally because we had like 3 versions of it and the content for 3 months, though we did a preliminary comparison of the workflows in the curation and in research for bibliographic metadata. So they are different, but parts of the workflows are similar. So let's say the duplication, everyone does the duplication. Researchers, OpenAir does them, their VIAP does their national libraries do theirs. So we applied for a funding for the next event, which will be around the workflows in bibliodata from the perspective of researchers and curatorial institutions. So let's say there's a researcher that did work on HPV, for example, and we try to describe it in short catalog in all the stages, and also invite someone from the HPV to describe what they are doing in those steps when they curate the resource. To find, because we know that they are similar things sometimes, but the question is whether we might maybe learn also from each other about those steps that are so similar, like for everyone that does the work. Like the duplication is a very good example, and we are doing it slightly differently. So yes, so that's one thing. But of course, with the skills and the training, it's a good point, and we will just emphasize it also in other workshop or in other formats.
Concerning cost, definitely cost is mentioned or dedicated directly for the training. So we would expect that if you would apply for that cost, then the training and workshops and some mutual learning should be a substantial part of this project, definitely.
But survey is a good idea. I mean, asking people, we don't do that as often as we maybe should, but also maybe asking I would guess that in the library communities there would be a lot of people who would be willing to fill the survey. So, but reaching the right kind of researchers can sometimes be a bit more tricky thing. But libraries are organized in such a manner that you might even get very good results for needs, or especially talking about like what would you call it, scholarly practices or something like that.
Another point, another comment. There is not, I will probably pass the word to Tomek, who will give a short summary from the perspective of working group.
Yeah. Just a couple of notes. So what we want to do right now after the workshop, we want to prepare a draft of a kind of a statement after the workshop, a little bit of in the direction of what Mikko was saying, and we will consult it with you and then present it in the DARIA annual event, also publish it online, but also our goal is to present DARIA annual event next year. So please be ready for a little bit of collaboration on the draft, as we definitely want to make this next step. We prepared a very large report. So now we want to prepare something a little bit shorter and more, readable for an average user of information nowadays. So that's our goal. We are excited to do something like that and be heard by the community. So looking forward to collaborating on that. That's all from me at this point.
Yeah, basically we are thinking just to create it with Tomek, let's say until the end of the month, some preliminary version, and then we will maybe contact you per email and ask you for your comments if you would have any suggestion how to change it or how to collaborate it a little bit more. more than happy to do that. Okay, so thank you, Tomek, and maybe it's time for me to say the last word to conclude completely our workshop. I will start with the most important information. Everything what I will say concerning organization would be later communicated to you via email, so you don't have to know everything. First point, I suppose that all of the administrational issues are solved and none of you need any stand and things like that. Happy to see that. Concerning the slides, I do hope that we will be able to upload to them on some repository, and we will ask you just to check if you are okay with the current version of the slide, and let's say during the first half or on Wednesday of the next week, we would like to upload them in Zenodo and make them completely free, publicly available. So please expect an email just for you to work a little bit on the slides if you need them. And during the next week, we would like to make them publicly available. That's the next point. The record should be in some reasonable time available on the most probably on the CLB as well as on the Daraya YouTube channel. So if any one of you would be interested to see once again whole workshop, you can watch this workshop instead of his favorite movie series and revive the workshop once again. And this is, I think, everything which would be said from my side, from the organizational point of view. And to conclude, I have to thanks to many people and to many of you who are there. Firstly, I would like to thank Daraya, who enables us to organize this workshop, and who enables most of you to come here to this workshop and fund you with your travel and accommodation here in Prague. So I would like to thank Daraya for supporting us via targeted funding for the working group activities, and it would be great, and I do hope that we spend the Daraya money reasonably. First point. Second point, I definitely like to thank Institute of Czech Literature, my home institution, which enables us to be here in these premises and to spend free, I think, very productive days in this conference. Also, thank is going to my institute. Then I would definitely like to thank our back office, who has supported you with the refreshments and the drinks, so no one, I hope, was thirsty or hungry during the whole conference. So thanks for our back office. I would like to thanks to both of our administrators, Maria as well as Emil, who have communicated with you concerning administration, reimbursement, and so on, because it was also sometimes quite complicated task. But I'm very happy that everything has been successfully closed at the moment. Then I would like to thank Lenka, who was taking care about the photos and, let's say, social media and the things related with our events. So thanks are going also to Lenka. Next thanks, and really important thanks, are going to Anya, which was our Zoom and, let's say, social events manager for 3 days. So Anya, thanks a lot for your leading us through the risks of the hybrid conference. Then I would, of course, like to thank our IT staff who technically take care about the broadcast. Also quite complicated, but I hope successful. I would like to thank all of the attendees, not only the online, but also those who have come here in person. We are really grateful. We are very happy to have an occasion to host you here. I would definitely like to thank all of the presenters, because I think that we have had many very inspirative, very interesting presentations, and definitely I would like to see the record, all of them, for me once again, just to get all of the details I haven't been able to follow. So thank you all for your presentations. And I'm just crossing all of the people and points I have to cross, and I am thinking that it's the last one, and I would like to thank that scary guy next to me, because without him, I won't be able, to manage this workshop as well as all our working group agenda. So thank you, Tomek, for your cooperation, and I'm
I
happy.
wanted to say that I also thank the Czech literature history, because without their support, it was amazing administration side of the things. It's so seamlessly going on. You don't notice anything, but they put a lot of work behind that all, and Vojtěch is very committed, and the whole team. So it's really like top level. So thanks for that.